So, welcome to the podcast. I'm Steven from the Countertop Marketing Company, and today I'm very excited because we are going to talk to Kyle Hunt from Actionflow. Welcome to the show. Good to have you on.
Thanks for having me, Steven. Excited to be on. I
Yeah,
know
man.
you've got a
Yeah.
big following.
Oh, yeah. Huge following. I'm an influencer, right?
That's right.
Geez, please. Yeah, but why don't you, for anyone that does not know Actionflow, I'm sure most shops and fabricators out there have heard of it. So, but why don't you tell us a little bit about Actionflow, and then we're going to jump into just some issues that you see in the industry, maybe some tips and tricks and
hmm
stuff like that.
Yeah. So Actionflow is a software to help fabricators with their quoting, scheduling, inventory management. And I'd say the thing that sets us apart is the ability to define processes in the system.
Okay.
And then Actionflow is able to uh, delegate tasks based on where that project is. So if a job is ready to be templated, it's going to alert the schedule manager, hey, we need to schedule this template, and they'll get a list of tasks. And once they finish, it'll pass it on to the next person down the line. So,
Nice. Nice.
yeah, they get to define all those types of things. And I think that leads to greater data integrity and hopefully more efficiency. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, again, we're on the marketing side, so it's different, but at least like helping shops get organized with these different tools, right?
Mhm.
Putting processes in place. I guess my question is when you work with a new shop, um, if their operations and systems are a mess, can
Mhm.
you guys help kind of clean that up, get them in the system and help with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we start off with a basic process that, most jobs follow a certain process anyway. You're gonna do the quote, you're gonna template, you're gonna then send it in the shop, and you're gonna do the install. So we can do the basics and get that going and just start to make sure the communication problem is solved. Everyone
Yeah.
knows what's going on. And then as we continue with the software, we can dive deeper into like, hey, we're having this issue. Let's add this step, make sure it's handled.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
we
Nice.
definitely started off nice and easy, and then we can add complexity as we go to help
Nice.
solve different problems.
Yeah, that's good. That's what is a typical rollout, time frame, month, couple of months? I mean, I guess it's
It
different across
varies on
the
the size
board.
of the
Yeah.
shop. Like
Yeah.
giving you a blanket answer on that one's tough. It
Yeah,
depends
yeah.
on the challenges. I'd say anywhere from 3 to 6 months
Okay.
for
Okay.
people to feel real confident
Yeah,
about
yeah.
what they're doing. And again, it's because we're not just rolling out the software, we're kind of diving into
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's
how
more
you're
than
running
just
your
that.
shop.
Nice. All right, cool, man. Sounds good. Sounds good. So why don't we jump into some issues that you see in the industry? Just, a couple of issues that you've come across shops, whether it's has to do with software, whatever it is, and we'll dive into some
Right.
of those.
Yeah, I think the biggest one that I see is the ability for leadership in these shops, especially the guy who's kind of starting and doesn't have a ton of help, and he's the answer, the end all be all everywhere. Um, Seeing his ability to slow down and document what it is that we're doing
Yeah.
is a huge challenge. Just because you've got so much stuff going on
Yeah.
already,
Yeah.
pausing to like document all that just feels like a waste of time when you're just putting out fires. And
Yeah.
I would really encourage fabricators to take 2 hours at first and just write down like what it is that you do and what are the steps involved
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Yeah, we see that often where we work with shops, or if I'm talking to a shop, um, they're doing like a million things, like many things, that they're overseeing, maybe a little bit more working, in the business than rather on the business. So, like as a high at the top, like you got to delegate, have people, take care of specific tasks, and it'll free up some time. And, again, even with my own business, I tend to do that as well, where I'm a
Oh
little
yeah.
bit too in the business, got to work on, the business as a whole. Yeah. How have, the shops that you've your clients, your users, how are they taking it from, COVID was super busy. Now it might be a little bit slow. Like, do you see anything out there in terms of that?
I'd say the big thing there is it's turning from, everyone was slammed with work over
Yeah.
COVID, and now you're going to have to be a little bit more diligent in your sales process along the way. So defining what your expectations are in that sales process. You're sending an email, you're making 2 phone calls, you're doing whatever, like getting that defined and written down
Yeah.
somewhere
Yeah.
is super, even if it's just in a Word doc for someone to know, like, hey, this
Yeah.
is what I got to do.
Yeah.
Because the days of being order takers, I think, are starting to slim down, and you're going to have to go back out and hunt and
Yeah.
have a good sales process
Yeah.
to close those deals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We see that right now where it's one week it's busy, the next week it's slow, and there's no consistency anymore. It's
Hmm.
just it is what it is. But to get back to your like writing it down in a Word doc, I have a good tip. I did a podcast on ISFA about this, and it was about like for when we do specific, this is more of like administrative tasks. We
Hmm.
use a piece of software called Loom, Loom
Yeah.
.com, I think you would go to. And it records your screen. So we basically record the task, have that video so someone could follow that. But then we have someone on our team make an SOP, just make like a documentation out
Yep.
of that video. And honestly, you do the task once, you get the documentation, or even if you just have the video for it, and then someone, it's so much easier for them to follow it, you
For
know,
sure.
the next time. It's just a great way to build out a library of like admin type tasks and things like that.
And Loom has actually added a feature where they'll record the or write down the transcript
Oh
for you.
yeah. Well,
So
nice.
if you want to start that Word doc too and have that, you just copy paste
Heck yeah.
like
Yeah.
that, and like that's half the battle
Yeah.
to get that going.
Yeah. It's like I said, we started doing that years ago and we have hundreds of videos, which again, sometimes you could record one, then you find a better way, so you redo it, but
Hmm.
it's something, right? It's
Right.
like you said, writing it down, like just getting it out of your brain onto something else definitely helps with the next time someone else has to do it, they can jump in and look at it.
Well, I think the biggest thing too with it is setting expectations for whoever is going to be doing it next. Like the big thing
Yeah.
about these owners is they care deeply because it's them who are taking the risks.
Yeah.
You want things done to a certain standard or done a certain way.
Yeah.
And if you don't document it and you don't set a certain standard, then how's the net when you're trying to hand that off? How are they supposed to know what success looks
Yeah.
like?
Yeah.
And I think
100%.
defining that for someone is really important.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, exactly. Like if you put yourself on the other side of it, you're coming in, you don't know what to do. If there's no documentation, no training, anything, then it's like,
Mhm.
well, what the heck am I supposed to do? So yeah, it definitely helps out. I don't know, any other issues you see right now in the industry that's kind of popped out of you, working with so many shops and fabricators?
Yeah, I'd say one, I think this again kind of stems with help and documenting things, but um, getting buy-in and convincing laggards, people who don't want to change, like
Yeah.
why this is a good reason to change.
Yeah.
Like getting buy-in from those people. It's just help is hard to find, and taking things a little bit deeper and again pausing to be like, what change do I want to implement? What's in it for this person? And then being willing to say to that laggard, that person not wanting to change, like, hey man, this might not be a fit for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I just see that a lot. Like, we can't do this because we've always done it this way. Miss Stacy will never want to do it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, then Miss Stacy's the one running your shop, not you.
Yeah. 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 It's very true. It's yeah, we see that when we'll start a marketing campaign, we'll roll out the CRM, and it's like, oh wait, I got to learn this, I got to use this. But in the beginning, there's a little bit of a learning curve, with
Mhm.
with anything out there. But if you fast forward like a month, two down the road, you're like, oh, like why wasn't I doing this way
Mhm.
back then? But yeah, you're right. Sometimes we see that with many shops where the owner will say, well, this one, she's been doing it for so long, he or she, and they don't want to do it differently. And it's like, well, listen, at some point, there's only so much you can do. It's, you got to make a decision on that.
Right.
So yeah,
And it's,
definitely.
sorry. Yeah, it's definitely like uh deciding who is running your shop. And
Yeah.
if you have, going back to the documentation piece, like if you've never captured what's in her brain and what she does and how she does it, then they're kind of holding you hostage. Like some of these
Yeah.
laggards who have information in their head, maybe the owners never participated in the job function that they do, so they don't know how it's done. You got to get those people to sit down and document what they do as well,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
otherwise
Yeah.
they're holding
Exactly.
you hostage.
True. Yeah. 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 Sometimes there's a whole position that, again, is inside of their head that isn't down on paper. And you know what? Something happens, and then you're in trouble because you don't know
Right.
exactly what they're doing. That's a good point. Yeah, very good point. Um, I know you guys were recently at Tice. Did you
Hmm.
see like any like we're starting to explore. I was kind of against it for a while, the AI, because I was like, it's not going to be all that good. But we're starting to kind of like play around with a little bit some of the tools out there, some good, some bad. And again, not to take over everything, but did you see anything interesting at Tice, like AI, anything out there?
I didn't see any. I know there was a presentation about someone trying to do an AI service. It
Okay.
wasn't super. I can't remember who. I don't even know if they actually did it. I remember
Okay.
seeing it on
Okay.
the thing. I'd say just AI in general. There's plenty of places where you're seeing it that it makes help, like social media captions. Like
Yeah.
I hate writing
Yeah.
social
Yeah.
media captions,
Yeah. Yeah.
but there's plenty of tools out there that
Oh
can
yeah.
help you write a social. It just
Yeah.
saves time, like energy and time,
Yeah.
saving
Yeah. I
those two
mean,
things.
we use ChatGPT for like specific tasks, yeah, right? Like social media captions. We still have a writer that writes content, but we'll use it for some like ideas on content or a little spinning up different paragraphs, things like that. But we're actually testing now a like kind of like a sales assistant AI bot, I guess if you want to call it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's interesting. It's like we have someone building it for us, and it's interesting to go back and forth. I actually sent it to my mother. Usually I'll have her test things because I'm like, if I
Great
could,
test case.
if one user interface, if she could like scroll around on something, I'm like, all right, anyone can do this. I hope she doesn't listen
Hmm.
to this episode. And the second one is like with the AI, I tried to trick her and say, hey, this is like a new call center person that we're hiring, blah, blah, blah. But I think she was kind of on to me. But well, the problem is the AI kept like saying the same question over and over. So I'm like, we got to fix that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but yeah, it's interesting. It will be interesting to see what happens. Like it's moving so fast, the technology that again, I think for certain things it will be helpful. Social media
yeah.
posts, things like that, super helpful, easy to use, spins up. It's sometimes amazing. Like it just spins it right up. You can
Right.
train it like to have your type of voice. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, we didn't attend Tice this year, but I was interested to know if they had anything there that was new. But
I
uh,
didn't see much. I'd say, like a lot of things in this, it'll be tough to break into the
yeah,
stone industry just because one thing AI can't do well right now is the emotion, handling the emotion of the conversation and
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah,
And you got pissed off people and
yeah.
you're in someone's house and they're not happy. AI doesn't have the emotional
No,
intelligence to
no.
handle that type of conversation. So,
No, yeah, it can only do so much. So,
right.
um, but yeah, we'll see what happens over the next couple of years for sure. Yeah, I was doing another podcast and I was telling, we were talking and I was saying how someone a shop that we're working with, they got to 8 million in revenue a year and they didn't even have a website. So they came to us and was like, oh, like we need a website. And learning more about their business. I'm like, wait, 8 million? You don't have a website? It's pretty damn impressive actually, but
Yeah.
it's also crazy when you think about it. But like you said, like the stone industry sometimes stuck a little bit, in the past on some things and a little bit behind. So
Well, it's
yeah, I
just
think we
such a
got,
challenging industry. It's like, where do you focus
yeah,
first, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to get the essentials, right? You got to get,
Right.
like I was telling that guy, I said, you got to get a foundation, get software like Actionflow, like get that foundation that will make your life easier, make you more money, just make things more organized, easier, and again, you'll be more efficient. Everyone will be more efficient in what they do once all these systems are in place. So
Hmm. Your company
nice,
will
man.
be worth more.
What's
That's
that?
one. Your company, I read somewhere, maybe it was a Aaron Crowley
Okay.
thing, but companies that have their workflows
Oh
and
yeah.
their processes and operations documented, and the owner is removed from that, and you kind of can build for each piece of your company, I think is worth 2 to 3 times more than a company that
Yeah.
doesn't have that. So,
Well, yeah, great point. I mean, if you're in this and maybe you want to pass the business down, which is fine, but if you're like, hey, one day I want to sell this thing, heck yeah, like if you could remove yourself and the business still runs and you could leave for a week or two, that thing is worth a lot more money.
right.
So
Whoever comes in doesn't want to buy you too. They want
no, they don't. They want to pay for a
to,
job. They want
right,
to, pay for a business that runs itself. So yeah,
right.
that's a great point. So, all right, man. Well, yeah, great talking to you. Thanks so much for jumping on. Make sure you check out Actionflow at actionflow.net. I think they could jump right on and schedule a call right
Yep.
there, right?
If they're interested, they can. The first step is schedule a discovery call. We want to learn about you before we start
Okay, cool.
offering advice. So,
All right,
yeah.
cool. So jump on, schedule a call. Nice, man. And then on that call, do you kind of show them the software a little bit? You learn
That first
all
call
about
is just
their.
us learning about you, and then
Okay.
we'll tailor a demo based on what we've learned about you.
Ah,
So
cool. Very
we'll
nice.
kind of, yeah, we'll focus and kind of script out, hey, these are the concerns you have. We're gonna make sure we have good examples to show you
Cool.
how we can help.
Nice.
So,
Very
yeah.
nice. Nice, man. All right. Well, yeah, we'll definitely connect back up, maybe a little bit down the road, have another episode, have you on. And if you're looking to grow the retail side of your countertop shop outside of word of mouth and referrals, then check out our website at countertopmarketingco.com to book a call with me, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Do it fast. Go to Countertop Marketing Co.
There we go.
Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Countertop Success Podcast, and make sure you head over and subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple iTunes, Spotify, and all the other major podcast platforms. Now, if you're looking to grow the retail side of your countertop business outside of word of mouth and referrals, then go over to our website at countertopmarketingco.com and book a free strategy call with me. Also, when you're on our site, check out our free training section and you'll find a ton of helpful resources that you can use to help grow your countertop business. Again, thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next show.